Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to share with you a video on how I personally craft my Book of Shadows or Grimoire. I am in the midst of recrafting it at the moment, so we will be going through that, and it is a little bit in pieces at the moment. This has been a highly requested video since I shared with you how I profile my magical herbs as a green witch and an herbalist. And I'm also greatly inspired by Olivia, or the Witch of Wanderlust's video that she just did, kind of redoing her own spell books. It's a really good video, I recommend it. I will link it in the description down below. Over the last month, I have been kind of reconstructing my grimoire and spending a lot of time trying to make it feel more whole. I've had kind of a basket of shadows for a while. I will show you that in a moment. And it felt like time to pull everything together. And it seems like quite a few of you have also been feeling the same way. So there must be something in the planets about making our books whole. So in this video, I want to finalize crafting my cover pages with you all, explain how I am doing that, why I'm choosing what I am, and what I've done so far. I'll also share with you how I craft my pages. This is a question I've gotten quite a bit, and I defined this style of my books a very long time ago, and while I am kind of finalizing and pulling a lot of pieces together, I have this system pretty down pat. So if you're curious on how I craft my own Book of Shadows, if you want to craft your Grimoire Book of Shadows in a similar way, then this video is for you. But before we dive in, this video is sponsored, so let's hear a little bit more about that first. As you know, I'm all about nature and keeping both our planet and ourselves healthy. And one major way I work to live a more healthy and sustainable life is by limiting the plastic I use, thereby limiting the microplastics that get into my food or our beautiful planet. That's why I made the switch to Blueland across all the cleaning products I use around my house. I've been using them for years now and absolutely adore them. Their products meet the highest standard of clean, and they're effective yet gentle on my family and the planet. Their tablet formulas are 100% microplastic free and made with certified clean ingredients. Plus, it brings a lot of peace of mind not having to choose between the safe, clean option for my family and what actually gets my house clean. Namely, I love the dishwasher detergent and laundry detergent tablets. They are 100% plastic-free, concentrated, pre-dosed tablets that come in compostable, plastic-free packaging, and they're free of parabens, phosphates, ammonia, VOCs, chlorine bleach, or phthalates. They're also made with certified clean ingredients that are safer for you, your family, pets, as well as the environment. The dishwasher detergent tablets are able to clean even 48-hour baked on or burnt on stains with no pre-soak or rinse aid needed, and the laundry detergent tablets lift off even the toughest of stains, from grass to coffee. They're also powered by enzymes to keep whites white and colors bright. Blueland is sharing a special offer just for my viewers. All you have to do is scan the QR code on screen or click my link below to get 15% off your first kit. Thank you so much to Blueland for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, welcome back. First things first, I think we should talk about some definitions. A grimoire and a Book of Shadows, I do kind of use the terms interchangeably, but technically they are different. A Book of Shadows tends to be a book that has more of your notes that you are taking. It is a dream journal. It is how a spell experiment is going, or notes on how a plant is growing. Whereas a grimoire is a more finalized journal. It's taking all of those things that you have gone through in your Book of Shadows and cementing them in place. So this is technically my grimoire. I have about 1 million books of shadows, hence the basket of shadows that I do have. And ultimately that doesn't have as consistent or cohesive of a form, but my grimoire does. Now the pages are not bound at the moment, so it is falling apart, and I've taken out quite a few as I am redoing quite a bit of it. But that's kind of the point of this video. So first things first, I want to talk about the cover pages. So let me show you what I have there. Alrighty, so this is my grimoire at the moment. I have done some experimenting on the top cover portion of it, and I've decided that I finally would like to make a true cover, as I've never actually had a cover for it. This is not on here permanently. I've just kind of loosely put it on here so that I could see what the plan is. But the basics of my grimoire: it is a simple cardboard cover, the contents that I have able to take in and out and tie down in new orders as I see fit, and a simple back cardboard cover as well. So at the moment I want to focus on the cardboard covers because I would like them to be nice fabric ones going forward. So I've made the front and the back cover of my book with just the back panel that comes with a sketchbook. I like the smaller size sketchbooks, and each of my pages are made from said sketchbook paper as well. I like the brown sketch paper. I have gone through quite a few of these sketchbooks in the crafting of this journal, and so I had a lot of extra pieces of cardboard to work with. Perhaps I should give you a little bit of a closer look. This is the base paper I use for my grimoire, and it comes with this sketchbook edge. Now, naturally, the cardboard edges were also like this, so I sealed this over with a ton of paper and punched 2 holes into it to be able to bind the book. This piece is identical to this one, I just have the fabric wrapped onto the back. It has taken me many years to decide what motif I wanted on the front of my book, and really even what material I wanted. I do a lot of paper art and pen and ink drawings, and so I thought that maybe I would want to do something similar to that, as that is the rest of my book's design. But ultimately, paper doesn't hold up so well as a cover, and so I decided that fabric had to be the way to go. I had a little bit of extra muslin in my fabric stash, and I was able to walk to a store to get some embroidery thread. I've never embroidered before in my life, so I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out as a first embroidery attempt. It's definitely a little bit messy, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think possibly one day I will do a back panel as well, but for the time being, the back will just be a plain fabric cover. I chose for the front panel to be 7 ferns. 7 is a powerful magical number. Ferns are powerful protectors. Ferns are also among my favorite fortifying herbs, which means they will enhance and amplify magic. So it felt very fitting to put 7 of them on my cover. I also just adore them. They're one of my favorite plants. So my plan now, with each of these panels done, and having already kind of made each of these, is just to secure them. So I'm not exactly sure how I plan to do this. I think I'm just gonna wing it, and we'll see how it turns out. I do have for the back of these panels a little piece of paper to hopefully clean up the edges, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I have the right materials, but we'll see. So let's begin with that. To prep the cover before setting it permanently, I began by lining it up the way I wanted to on the front. Then I taped it ever so carefully around each edge, pulling it tight across the front and folding down the corners. So I have taped down each side as much as I feel that I reasonably can. I really like how the front looks. It's fit the way I want it and feels sturdy. So now I think I'm going to just run paste over this, and hopefully it will be able to seep through the fabric and stick it to the board. Once it seems tacky enough, I will add the paper to this as well. I have this weighted down now to make sure it seals well, and I just repeated the same process on the back panel, which I also have weighted down at the moment. So now with that done, let's walk through how I build my pages while we wait for this to dry. Here is my bookmaking kit. It is an old briefcase that was my grandfather's, and in it I house everything that I use in the constructing of my Book of Shadows, save for the basket of shadows, which I will still bring out. I have layers of the paper that I use, the tools I use to decorate and cut apart the paper. Of course, there are drawings that still need to be pasted in, all of my ink, and what I am currently working on. So when it's time to start a new page, I get a new page plus one extra. To make each page for my book, I begin by reinforcing the binding edge. I like my books to have 2 hole punches, so I have to first paste a solid piece of paper over the sketchbook binding edge. Then I trim it down to size. And do it all over again for the other side. I used to only ever paste one side of the binding, but I've recently began reinforcing both sides. This has made the pages far sturdier, and they also look a bit better. Now that I have a good strong seam, it is time to punch the holes in it, so I have a place to run it through the book. For that, I use a good old-fashioned metal 3-hole punch. Now, I can only fit 2 hole punches on this paper, but this is what I've been using for years, and it works pretty well. This way, all of the pages are even and consistent throughout the book. Each of my pages in my book come about in a different way. Sometimes it's cut out paper art, other times it is just a page that contains more writing. Everything is unique, and I go with what feels right in the moment for the project I'm working on. Because this is my grimoire, I like it to have a finalized, very artistic feel, so every single page that I work on has drawings on the front and the back. So it can take quite a bit of time to get it done. But for me, this is part of my practice. It's part of solidifying my knowledge, and it makes it sacred to me. So for this blank page that I have, I would like to begin noting the herbal identification information for the next herb I'm working on, which is bee balm. It is just finishing its season here, and I feel like it's a perfect time to honor this beautiful herb. So first things first, I need to finish this drawing of it that I've started. And hopefully finishing this page will give this all plenty of time to dry and be ready to be put together. Alrighty, so it is a little bit later in the evening now. This drawing is finished. I have my title for the page, And I have had the book covers resting under some weights. They seem fairly well sealed and are nice and flat, so I'm very happy with that. The one thing that I do still need to do is kind of finalize those hole punches here. I don't really have a plan for this. I think I might start opening it and maybe just glue the edges. I think that might be the best way to keep it from unraveling. But all that would be left to do with this, now that I have a pen and ink drawing and its title, figure out how I want to display it on the page, and just begin writing the information that will go with it. First though, I do want to figure out the hole punches here. For each of these, I ended up just cutting a hole through the fabric and paper with a blade. Then I added a bit of glue and tried to kind of maneuver it into place. Right now I have some weights on the back pieces so that the paper and fabric hopefully dries flat. I don't think this will be a permanent solution, but it will work for now. Now to finish designing this piece. As I said before, just gonna paste it in whichever way feels right. And then I want to begin adding the information on Bee Balm's herbal identification. Alrighty, so I have finished my first page on Bee Balm, and this is the herbal identification. I have its common name, its botanical name, along with the botanical family and some additional common names. Now, Bee Balm goes by quite a few common names, and so I listed the most popular here and then continued on with the others that it may go by and I may stumble across in other writings. I like to leave some extra room for additional common names on this first page because I find I am always seeing new ones regardless of how long I've studied an herb. After the common names, I then dive into a simple botanical description just so I can identify it perfectly when I do see it, as my drawings do tend to be a little bit more on a artistic side than a true identification side. So now that this front page is done, normally I would continue on with the back page, but it is getting late in the day and I would like to show you how I will finish binding this book. So I'm gonna tuck this into its section and check on these guys, and let's get this book bound together. All right, these are each looking quite good. They are bending ever so slightly, so I may weight them down again. That is just what happens when you glue something. So let's just do that for now while we finish up the rest of this. As these pages are unbound and I am reworking quite a few profiles at the moment, I'm just going to stick it in there without perfect order, but usually I do keep my herbs in alphabetical order, but again, not done with that one quite yet, and most of the rest still have some work to do. So ideally, can be a little harder to get the book back together once I have taken it all apart, but all of these should line up pretty well. And then it's just going to be to tuck it into here. And for this, I like to just use a bit of twine. This is what I was using before, and I do maybe want to go back to that, but I've been working with a more waxed thread, and I think I want a thicker thread than this, but it does move through the pages a little more easily. So first I want to lace the bottom, lace through these, and then I just tie it off. So let's do that real fast. Sorry, bub. You were just right where I need this to go. Is that okay? Still comfy? Okay, good. Take the weights off for one moment. And we're just gonna start with that bottom page. And it's pretty straightforward. Just start going through the way that you would anything. I might do this in some layers. Beautiful. And now for the cover. Perfect. To keep it together, I just tie a simple bow. Try not to tie it too tight because this allows me to move through all of the pages and place new pages where I want them to go. So if I do just a simple knot on the top and bottom, which holds it together perfectly. And then let's say I have a new lemon balm page to add. I'll just turn there once I add this one, of course, and pull each knot through. And then it acts kind of similarly to a binder where I'm able to just untie these, place the new page in, and re-knot it. And then it's good. That way I can add new pages wherever I need to, but I also have a very secure book. And with that, the book is complete. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is so nice for this to have an actual cover. It feels really good and like an actual magical book. I do think one day I will design the back of this, but for now, grim, sure. But for now, I'm really just very happy with these ferns. So far, the glue seems to be holding up and working well, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if it'll be a permanent solution. I certainly will be figuring out a better solution for the hole punch areas on the cover. I think I would prefer to do metal there, but I just don't have that. So that will be a later addition. And I'm very happy with my little entry on bee balm. I am redoing most of my herbal entries at the moment to add some more information and just to kind of finalize them. But if you are interested, I will be posting that drawing of bee balm on Patreon. Every month I share a drawing or artwork on Patreon, and this month that will be the one going there. So you're able to use it in any way that you please. I also share monthly herbal profiles on Patreon, and I do have one on bee balm if you're interested in a full magical profile on that plant, along with tons of others that are already there. Anyways, spiel done. This book is very much a work in progress, but it is meant to be. It is something that will never be complete, and I intend to put all of my knowledge for my entire life into it. It is a culmination of my practice and something that I want to put a lot of heart and soul into. So it will take time. But for today, I am extremely pleased with this book. So for those of you that were wondering, this is how I have crafted my own grimoire and how I do tend to craft my books of shadows as well, though they tend to be different sizes depending on their purpose. All right, now it is time for my closing out spiel, which I will give you, and then after that, if you are interested, I will show you my basket of shadows. But for the closing out, if you kind of would like to, I'd appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. I also have another channel where I share more day-to-day life, more magic, herbalism, all of those good things. And I wrote a book. It's all about herbal magic and will bring the beginner to the intermediate. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, it'll be linked in my description down below. Now for the basket of shadows. And here it is, my basket of shadows. At the moment, it is mostly just artwork that I need to add into my final book, but a lot of times it is just pockets of notes as well. So books of shadows can even be baskets of shadows. magic comes in all forms. So, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you're having a lovely day.